Michael here, May 4th, 2024, 9:38 a.m. There are many stories in the Bible that are just, or should I say the Torah, that um, are just wonderful stories and very, very interesting and, give us a window into um, what life was like um, back during the times of Genesis. So, I'm going to read a quick little story. It's from the Stone edition of the Torah, with commentary anthologized from the rabbinic writings by Rabbi Nasson Sherman. Okay? Let's get going. It was at the time that Judah went down from his brothers and turned away towards an Adulamite man whose name was Horah. There Judah saw the daughter of a prominent merchant whose name was Shelah. He married her and consorted with her. She conceived and bore a son, and he called his name She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. And yet again she bore a son, and called his name Shelah. And it was in Shezib when she bore him. Judah took a wife for in his firstborn. Her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, was evil in the eyes of Hashem, and Hashem caused him to die. Then Judah said to Onan, consort with your brother's wife, and enter into levirate marriage with her, and establish offspring for your brother. But Onan knew that the seed would not be his. So it was that whenever he would consort with his brother's wife, he would let it go to waste on the ground, so as not to provide offspring for his brother. What he did was evil in the eyes of Hashem, and he caused him to die also. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow in your father's house until my son Shelah grows up. For he thought, lest he also die like his brothers. So Tamar went and lived in her father's house. Many days passed, and Shua's daughter, the wife of Judah, died. When Judah was consoled, he went up to oversee his sheep shearers, he and his Adulamite friend Horah, to Timnah. Okay, where's two passages? Okay, nothing there. And Tamar was told as follows, behold, your father-in-law is coming up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So she removed her widow's garb from upon her, covered herself with a veil, and wrapped herself up. She then sat by the crossroads, which is on the road towards Timnah. For she saw that Shelah had grown, and she had not been given to him as a wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, since she had covered her face. So he detoured to her by the road and said, come, if you please, let me consort with you. For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, what will you give me if you consort with me? He replied, I will send you a kid of goats from the flock. And she said, provide me your leave, provided you leave a pledge until you send it. And he said, what pledge shall I give you? She replied, your signet, your wrap, and your staff that is in your hand. And he gave them to her, and consorted with her, and she conceived by him. Then she arose, left, and removed her veil from upon her, and she put on her widow's garb, Judah sent the kid of the goats through his friend, the Adullamite, to retrieve the pledge from the woman, but he did not find her. He inquired of the people of her place, "Where is the prostitute, the one at the crossroads by the road?" And they said, "There was no prostitute here." So he returned to Judah and said, "I did not find her. Even the local men said there was no prostitute here." So Judah said, "Let her keep them, lest we become a laughingstock. I really sent her this kid, but you could not find her." And it was when about 3 months had passed that Judah was told, "Your daughter-in-law, Tamar, has committed harlotry, and moreover, she was conceived by harlotry." Judah said, "Take her out and let her be burned." As she was taken out, she sent word to her father-in-law, saying, "By the man to whom these belong, I am with child." And she said, "Identify, if you please. Whose are this signet, this wrap, and this staff?" Judah recognized, and he said, "She is right. It is from me. Inasmuch as I did not give her to Shelah my son, and he was not intimate with her any more." And it came to pass at the time she gave birth that, behold, there were twins in her womb. And it happened that she gave birth. One put out a hand. The midwife took a crimson thread and tied it on his hand, saying, "This one emerged first." And it was as he drew his hand back that, behold, his brother emerged. And she said, "With what strength you asserted yourself." And he called his name Perez. Afterwards, his brother on whose hand was the crimson thread came out, and he called his name Shelah. And that's it. That's the end of that story. Very, very interesting story. And what's fascinating is the custom. Okay. And if you think about it, it's the super nuclear family. Genetically, if, let's say, a brother dies and his brother carries on his name through his wife, the offspring are going to be carrying the same genes as the two grandparents, right? Very similar to the brother who had died. Very, very interesting. And it tells you a lot about the times that they lived in. Excellent story. I've always enjoyed. This is one of many stories that I enjoy in the Bible. Have yourself a good day, and take care.